Hello. My name is Kaitlyn Lehbert. I'm going to be taking over the She Talks Ball Instagram story today. I'm going to be talking a bit about what projects I'm involved with and how I got into those and any tips or advice I have about getting into the sports industry, specifically the women's side of the sport industry. So thank you to Radha and to She Talks Ball, the podcast, for letting me take over today. Okay, so the first thing we're going to be talking about is Play Society. It is a clothing brand that I am an ambassador for. So I'd say me becoming an ambassador for that brand first, when I had just kind of found out about the clothing beforehand and I ordered some things, I would just share it anyways and kind of promote that brand and support their message. And then also on their website, they had it where you could apply to be an ambassador. So I would say that's kind of the main way I got involved with it, is kind of just applying, and everything worked out. Okay, so favorite pieces. First, I would say this one, Support Sports. For size reference, I'm a size small, so it's slightly over, what's it called? Oversized fit for me. But that's how I wanted it anyways. So I would say that one. I would say this one that says female athlete judged by achievements, not by gender. And so one thing I did mention actually was gender marking. So this kind of alludes to what that is. So there's that one. My absolute favorite, this is what the back of it says. The future is sports. Absolute favorite. I could wear just this one and be happy, more than happy, for the rest of my life. And the last one, so good. So they did face masks. So I got one that says support sports. To be honest, I did have to alter it a bit. So this is the altered version of it. It wasn't too much that had to be altered though. Pretty much just the bottom had to be kind of fixed in. So yeah, so I also have this, which is my absolute favorite mask to wear out. Sometimes I forget that there's a message on it and I kind of wonder why people are staring, but hopefully they're getting the message loud and clear to support women in sports. Okay, so my last thing about women's sports clothing, I am a huge follower of the message, we're not winning if we work in silos. So as a side note, I wanted to mention two other women's sports clothing brands because I encourage you to look at all their stuff and get all of it and for them to all be successful. So one, Equalize the Future. I have this shirt with 3 legends, and then this one, and then there's a nice message on the back. I'll post a picture of what that message says closer up. So that one. And then I've gotten this shirt too, Woman in Sports, get you one. That's Play Like a Girl apparel. So I will attach all the accounts in the story. So the second project I'm involved with is She Scores. I'm a director. She Scores is a news media website that covers women's sports. I want to give a big shout out to Jessa and Laura for really setting a strong foundation for She Scores before I had joined. And then also a subtle hint, so there is a podcast that is coming out soon under the She Scores brand. That's going to be hosted by 2 new members that had just joined us, John and Catherine. So keep an eye out on that in the next week. So side project number 3 is a something I'm working on with someone named Katrina Gallus. How this even all kind of came about was when Katrina did a keynote presentation at an event at my school that I was helping to plan. It was a woman in sport event. After her presentation, I went up to talk to her about something that she spoke about during the event. Later on, we had connected on social media, kind of kept in touch here and there, sent each other women's sport resources, stuff like that. And she had mentioned kind of her idea for a project and asked if there was any of interest for me to contribute to that based on what she had felt that I did well on so far on social media, which would maybe tie in well to that project. Went from there, and then and last but not least is role number 4, so the internship I'm doing with Canadian Girls Baseball. Canadian Girls Baseball is a nonprofit organization that offers baseball programs to girls ages 4 to 16. So I'm helping with their social media, and then I'm also helping with some of their programs across Canada. So that would involve finding girls, recruiting girls that want to participate in the programs, and then also finding female coaches to coach those girls for the programs. So if that's okay, I'm going to do a different approach to answering this question. I'm going to say a past athlete. So for that, I would say Billie Jean King for sure. Great question too. So from personal experience, this is how I've normally gone about it. So depending on what it was that was sexist or the outlet, I'll start with getting in touch with them directly. So if I can get in touch with them directly, I will pretty much just kind of voice my concern. It'll always be in a very civil tone. It'll just kind of be a thing where I'm saying, hey, this kind of concerned me, something that happened recently. So I'll start with that. Usually my goal doing it that way is that me just getting in touch with them directly and having a very civil, mature conversation, that something will hopefully improve from that situation just like that. That's the hope, but unfortunately it doesn't always happen that way. So if that doesn't work personally, what I've more so done in the past after to hopefully just improve whatever sexist action it was is first, for example, making sure that like I'm setting the right tone from the start and spreading that tone. So if that doesn't work personally, what I've more so done in the past after to hopefully just improve whatever sexist action it was is first, for example, making sure that like I'm setting the right tone from the start and spreading that tone. So for example, if it's sexist language, obviously I would never be using that. And then second, to the people around you that are open to listening and getting feedback and learning, I make sure I can send that lesson to them. So the hope with that is that that can really just trickle down and have an effect, and those people pass on those lessons to other people as well. And then something else I've kind of done as a substitute side action is, so the substitute side action, and this is something I've considered, and this is a recent example. Say if it's a sport business event and they have little to no female speakers that are going to be represented at the event. I know I've thought before, okay, well maybe there's an event that can be put on that will really better highlight female speakers and the value they bring to the sports industry. How many of them are out there and I'm sure happy to speak at an event. So the way I would go about that is seeing if there's an organization that kind of shares the same values as me, and if they would kind of want to be a part of an initiative like that. And to wrap up that question, something that I said earlier today, the good ones, they'll get there. They'll be right there with you. The other ones that don't think that way, just go prove them wrong. And that wraps up my Instagram takeover for the day or for the morning, depending where you're watching from. Thank you again to Radha and the She Talks Ball account for letting me do this today. This is probably the most I've ever talked on video. It's normally not something I'm comfy with, but it is something I want to do a lot more of after I had this opportunity to do it today. Thank you also to the She Talks Ball followers and my followers, anybody that sent in questions. I love them all. I hope I could give them justice with my answers. If you ever want to talk more, feel free to reach out to me on my account. I'm happy to talk more about if there was a question I didn't answer, or if you want more detail about a question I did answer. So yeah, bye.